And they had the Gators on the ropes in Gainesville, but Florida won it 102-98 in overtime. Couple 7-footers about to jump center. Olandis Poole, Will Howard, Jose Nieves, our officiating crew. The Bulldogs in gray win the opening tap, and we are underway before a sellout crowd at the Stegman Coliseum. Florida man-to-man defensively. Georgia starting a couple of bigs tonight, including Chiwa, who gets the first paint touch and takes it right at hand, logged in for the first bucket.
Boy, Chiwa got inside position in the scoring zone for a big.
The Gators showcase one of the best backcourts in this league, and as Mark mentioned, this league is full of great guards this year. Richard misfires, and there is what the Gators do as well as anybody, offensive rebound. Clayton, clear drive to the bucket, and the Gators are on the board.
Florida missed 32 shots in the first meeting. They got 16 offensive rebounds.
You see the starting five for the Bulldogs. Again, they'll go with a couple of bigs in this one. Deloach and Chiwa. Three talented guards, but they really need to get Abdur-Rahim going early, Mark.
I like the way that Demery has kind of grown this season. He's become, according to his head coach, a more mature player.
Samuel inside. The Gators with two buckets in the paint.
Yeah, how about both teams scoring on their first two possessions? Neither one are really built defensively.
Chiwa again, just bully ball right on the 7'1" Micah Handlogden.
Yeah, he took away the shot blocker's space. More big guys need to learn how to do that. Go at the other guy's chest.
Will we see an actual jump shot in this game? Here's one, a wide open three by Samuel. Raises the iron.
Yeah, just 4 for 21 from deep on the year. Now make it 4 for 22.
Bulldogs have hit their first 3 shots of this game. Thomason on a turn and fade. He has such great footwork for a guard.
And you have to remember, Georgia has gotten off to some great starts against great opponents, like Alabama here, like South Carolina here.
Frenetic pace to start this game already. Very similar to what we saw in Gainesville as Thomason makes Georgia now 5 for 5.
Georgia's offense in the early going much better than Florida's defense.
Bowen wings it out to Clayton on a 3. Back iron, another offensive rebound. Nobody boxed out the shooter. Now Bowen pulls up from 14.
That's almost his signature move, isn't it? Get into the mid-range, have a little step back, if you will. It didn't take long for either team to get in the middle of the ring, did it?
No, it has not. A couple of fighters throwing haymakers here in the first stanza of this game. As you look at Mike White, the former Florida coach who had great success with the Gators in terms of tournaments, would have made 5 straight tournaments it had not been for the COVID year, and of course won a game in every tournament that he led the Gators, including one Elite 8. No doubt another special matchup for him going up against the program that was his introduction to the SEC. Of course, a former guard at Ole Miss as a player.
They tried to screen for Chiwa in the lob, and I thought it was there.
Thomason sets things up with 10 on the shot clock. Around the screen from Chiwa. Thomason, deep 3 on the way. Got it! Wow! Noah Thomason already with 7 points.
You and I saw him do that very thing a week ago Wednesday at Mississippi State. He was dynamite.
That is going to be an and one for Samuel. He ran into a brick wall, threw it up, and banked it home.
I said this last Wednesday night, a little Harden-esque, if you will. Between the legs, step back 3. He was so good in that game on the road in Starkville. Career 37% three-point shooter. How many points did you say were scored in the first meeting?
200, Mark Wise.
I think we're en route to that number.
You and I are all for it. We've seen enough defensive tussles over the years. It's a very physical league, the SEC is. Sometimes points are hard to come by. We'll take a shootout any day.
It's interesting that Georgia opted to play the 2 bigs to start the game together.
How about Thomason again? He is in an absolute zone to start this game off. 10 points in less than 4 minutes.
Breakdown defensively off that action. That's a wide open look.
Somebody going to have to guard number 3 in gray. Condon misfires on a tray.
And I think Georgia will live all day long with Samuel and Condon shooting threes.
Thomason again. Finally misses, and then a foul on the floor drawn by Chiwa. And he's fired up, and so too is this crowd.
Noah Thomason picking up where he left it off a week ago at Mississippi State. Knocking down the three. Georgia, the home team.
Georgia coach Mike White, he knows that they have to hit threes to win games like this. It's not really an option, although they're getting a lot of force inside. There is the aforementioned Melendez. More points in the paint. But
Georgia is getting whatever they want in the half court.
And whenever they want it. Clayton hounded by Melendez on the offensive end. Clayton on a drive. And another finish. Such an athletic guard, a former star football player out of Lake Wales, Florida. And that'll silence the crowd temporarily.
But it's not going to matter if Florida cannot get some stops, some better defensive presence.
Chiwa going to work inside again. Oh, wow. This is as good an offensive half as we've seen Chiwa have in a while.
That time he caught the ball out of the scoring zone, but worked himself back into a more familiar territory.
Clayton can't find it. Out of bounds. Georgia ball.
Those are the kind of rebounds, Mike, that I think Georgia has to win today, though. Those 50-50 rebounds, the loose balls, the scrums. Mike White talked to me yesterday about that very thing that they worked on all week, was defensive rebounding. They had the bye, of course, this week.
When is the last time you saw a team hit 9 of its first 10 shots to open a game? Can Georgia even get close to this pace the rest of the way? 20 points already in a little over 5 minutes of action.
This bigger lineup has paid dividends early on.
Pass deflected out of bounds, again intended to give another paint touch to Chiwa. Chiwa already with 6 points and a rebound. The veteran Justin Hill in the game, comes off the bench quite a bit, but he will finish a lot of games. Mike White trusts his judgment in close games down the stretch. And a turnover on Georgia there.
Talk about a different start from the first meeting to the second. Take a look at what Georgia did in Gainesville, starting 1 for 8 with 3 turnovers. Tonight, almost perfect. Those are, shall I say, Villanova's second half numbers in the NCAA 85 championship game.
Are you going 85, McLean,
the perfect
Raleigh,
game?
Massimino? Yeah. There's a pull-up jumper by Kugel, and he's a player to watch for Florida. Yeah. Not just in this game, Mark, but really the rest of the way. Since coming off the bench, he has played better, he has shot better. We all know the athleticism is there. They really need a stellar Riley Kugel to make a run come March.
Yeah, he's kind of been a wild card this season. He does have 5 games of 20 or more, but he's shooting 42% from deep in league play.
Hill up top. Finds an open Abdur Rahim, who's been in a shooting slump for Georgia. Shot clock down to 1. Desperation heave off the mark, and the rebound of the Gators looking to run.
Chiwa off the floor getting a breather. Georgia's a little bit different with their low post offense.
Kugel throws up a leaner, gets it to tap, taps it again, and Georgia does a great job defensively.
Well, if you're Florida, you just want to kind of get the fight back in the middle of the ring, don't you?
Hill draws the foul on the penetration. Second-year head coach Todd Golden, of course, came from the University of San Francisco. Former assistant under Bruce Pearl, who he credits for getting this opportunity to be a head coach in the Southeastern Conference. Last year, taking over. Colin Castleton goes down with the injury that really derailed the Gators' chances of playing for an NCAA tournament bid. They did make it to the NIT. This year, though, boy, did he exhibit some portal power. I mean, they went in. I think, Mark, as much as X's and O's are important for a head coach, roster construction has never been more important. It's a skill, and he's done a great job of having a medley of freshmen and portal transfers.
Yeah, the newbies, if you want to call them that. I think they've gotten significantly better up the middle from last year to this year, and that starts with your point guard and your 5-man. And I understand Castleton, but he didn't play the back half of last year. Georgia's man-to-man defense has been really good. Florida having trouble getting good looks.
This is Pullen. And there's your slump buster right there. Zion Pullen, when in doubt, the SEC's league leader in assist-to-turnover ratio and second in assists per game.
40% from bonus land on the year. He's been super.
You and I are going to talk about our M&M SEC Player of the Year candidates later. Zion Pullen, number 0 in blue, is on that list, and he'll be on a lot of people's list in terms of all conference.
I thought, much like Cooper at South Carolina, they're the pieces of their puzzles that make all the other pieces fit very snugly.
They're the engine, right?
Yes.
I mean, you can have nice rims and
great positional size. How about 2 in a row? That looked off.
Offensive rebound. The Gators do that extremely well. A rebound margin on the year of +9.
Oh my goodness.
Weaving left to right and flips it home. It is a dynamic duo, Pullen and Clayton, that lead the way for this Florida attack. And there's a foul on the alley-oop attempt. It was intended for Ansel Amibe.
Mike, watch this by Clayton. He fakes a pocket pass. He comes off the screen. Watch this fake right there and look away. Everybody bit defensively on that fake pocket pass, and that led Clayton to a clean look. Man, is that impressive.
Kane, talented freshman out of Knoxville, Tennessee, gets the ball. They leave him alone, and Kane misses back iron.
59% of his shots are from deep.
Clayton angles it inside. Great pass, big to big, and there on the finish is Houck. Florida's got a rotation of bouncy bigs that play the game so well.
I love the fact that Condon, the freshman, kind of read and took what the defense gave him. Oh, this is a mismatch. Oh, my goodness.
Shewa sees it and takes it right at Condon.
Shewa always goes to his right, but he is doing so successfully. He is a load here in the first half.
Did not have 8 points, 4 for 4 for Shewa on my bingo card through the first 8.5 minutes. Here's Kugel going to work, lost it. Great hustle by Georgia, and a foul on Kugel as he reaches around to try and poke it back from Demery, and a little bit of tempers flaring, and everybody cools off and will head to their respective benches.
Russell Shewa, the 7-footer grad student, has been dynamic here in the early going. He, first of all, in the very first possession, got inside of position. I think his confidence has scored. He's been able to score off the bounce for a guy 7 foot tall, creating his own look off the window. That is high-level stuff, and for a guy that averages only 7 points a game, he already has 8.
Just best punch to stay with the boxing analogy here in the first 9 minutes or so. A 6-point game here at Stegman Coliseum. Another sellout crowd. These fans have been great for Georgia, even when the team is in a little bit of a rut. Here's Thomason, blazing hot to start this game. Gives it off to Deloach. Man at the rim, a block. But then there's the follow. A slam for Ansel Amibe.
Yeah, that's bonus points, really, for Georgia on the offensive glass.
Runner, and the foul drawn from behind by Walter Clayton.
Clayton's really good at coming off the screen, getting his defender on his hip, and keeping him there.
We talked about Clayton and Pullen, that dynamic duo. I can't remember, Mark, a year in this conference, and we've seen some great backcourts over the years, but this year, the amount of terrific tandems, I I want to say it's unprecedented. I mean, everywhere you look in this league, there is some great tandems of guards.
Yeah, no matter who you're talking about, whether you're talking about Taylor and Radford or Mark Sears and whoever you want to put with him,
right.
The Kentucky tandems in the backcourt. I mean, this league, I think, is as good as it has been in the backcourt in a long time.
Talon Cooper and Michi at South Carolina, Tennessee, of course. There's a three. That man is absolutely on fire. Thomason now with 13 points, 5 of 6 from the field. And then on the other end, it's Houck. The Gators leaving Georgia no time to celebrate.
Thomason is a unique three-point shooter because most of the time you want to shoot in rhythm, catch and shoot. His rhythm is the step back off the bounce. Now, this has been a trouble spot for Houck all season long, just 46%.
This is what we were talking about with the backcourt.
This group?
Taylor and Radford, Pullen and Clayton, Reeves and Shepard. Of course, you're going to add Dillingham to that group in Lexington. Sears and Griffin and Cooper and Michi Johnson. That's just a handful of tandems. There are more, but it is a loaded year for point guards and backcourts in this talented Southeastern Conference.
And tell me what the records of those combined teams are.
Very good. You got tournament teams all over that list.
Watch out.
Great job.
Watch out. That's in rhythm.
Back iron. Great job initially by Handlogden to get a hand in the face of the red-hot Thomason. On the drive and drawing the foul is Will Richard, who came into this game with 999 points. So this will be a very ceremonial free throw to start things off for his first trip to the line.
Speaking of ceremonial, how about Caitlin Clark and what she accomplished the other night?
Unreal. Just can't say enough. There are very few players that if you have no interest in the teams or the game itself that you still want to watch.
Right.
Caitlin Clark is such a phenomenon.
She is such a great shooter, and I think she's a better passer. Well, her vision of seeing the floor, you know, it's second to none.
Right. And obviously, when she goes on to the next level, she'll have 4 other pros on the floor with her at the same time to take advantage of that vision. Richard now looking for career point number 1001 as he calmly sinks a pair. He had 24, a career high in the first meeting, or excuse me, in the meeting last year here in Athens 1 year ago. A 6-point game, a very entertaining opening 10 minutes here at Stegman Coliseum as Thomason finds Demery. Demery, pull-up jumper.
Nothing wrong with that look, though. That's good offensive execution.
Pulling around the screen. Finds Kugel in the corner. 3-ball on the way. Got it. And that is the kind of play we were discussing earlier. 42% from downtown in league play after going through a terrible slump in the non-con.
It's a nice job by Pullen on the dish out. Kind of classic drive and look for the same side 3.
A lot of physical play there between Melendez and Houck. Houck's the kind of guy, when you're playing a pickup game, you don't want him to guard you.
There's the pass by Pullen, and I mentioned earlier that Kugel, 42% in league play. That number's going up.
I think
that rebound, didn't you think that rebound got to Houck before he could get balanced?
Yeah.
I mean, Melendez was off balance, Houck was off balance.
Because they ran into each other like 2 semis. There's no lack of physicality with those two. Thomason getting everything out of his grab bag.
His full repertoire is on display.
Richard can't find it from downtown. Kane on the weak side gets the board.
Richard's had a very uneven 3-point shooting year.
Thomason gets in the trees, little fade and fire. And now Kugel has it for the Gators. All SEC freshman a year ago, Riley Kugel. That had the scouts paying attention to him. Pulls the trigger on a 3.
And when he gets that high screen from Hanlocked and Chiwa is in a drop coverage, he's got to step up.
A 2-point game. Abdur Rahim continues to be chilly from outside. We would love to get him going again. Kugel. And another offensive rebound for one of the best rebounding teams in the country. Out of bounds. It will be Gator basketball with 8:05 to play. Hanlogden will get a breather. Talk about the offensive rebounds. I had to double check this number, Mark. I thought it was a typo. He alone has 83 offensive rebounds on the season.
Right.
And they rotate their bigs. It's not like he's out there 35 minutes a game. Six on the shot clock.
So watch, when they get a high screen, Samuel decides to go ahead and take that. There's Houck again, though, trying to keep it alive.
And that'll bring us to another media timeout with 7:48 to play.
To note that this is a quad building game for Florida, because if you get a road win today, it's a quad 2 win.
Right.
And the committee looks at that. They'll look at the quad 1s, but they'll also throw those quad 1 and 2 records together.
And they also like teams that can win away from their home gym. So any road win in the SEC matters somewhat. That's a good sign for Georgia.
Yeah.
They need Abdur Rahim to start finding his touch again.
Houck had his hands down on the closeout. Way late.
Back to a 5-point game.
See how Chiwa is almost playing a one-man zone. Now watch as he drops. Pullen picked up his dribble there.
Samuel banging inside, takes it right on Chiwa and misfires. Here comes Hill into front court, but the Bulldogs up by 5.
Yeah, the 2 point guards playing together for Georgia, Hill and Demery.
Thomason back out Abdur Rahim. Hounded by Houck.
Much better job by Houck that time.
Chiwa finds the cutter. And that actually is a break for Florida, because it was a great pass that was about to lead to an easy bucket.
Chiwa read the double coming from the baseline guard side. Knew he had the weak side open. And as you called, the foul saved the Gators a deuce by the home team.
Yeah, Chiwa was about to get an assist. Baseline out of bounds, and they'll dump it down low to Thomason, right back to Hill. Great execution.
Again, Georgia's execution on their out-unders, their half-court offense has been stellar.
7-point Bulldog advantage.
So here's what I'm talking about. Chiwa in the drop coverage. Again, that's another guy that can shoot threes, hasn't made very many this year, just 6 of 22. But again, I think Mike White's willing to live with that.
He's got the green light and exercised it there. And then a Georgia turnover. An ill-advised pass from Chiwa over the hands of Hill.
A lot of respect for Chiwa is being shown by the Florida staff, because they've had to change how they're defending in the post, in the low block area. They're now going on the catch and double teaming. Some coaches call it their fire. Kelvin Sampson in Houston calls it their monster game. Doubling the low block.
Clayton on a rise and fire. Offensive rebound, Condon, and he's hacked on the floor. And that'll be 16 fouls on Georgia with 5:58 to play.
Again, that's where Florida can be so dynamic on the offensive glass.
Bowen can't connect on the 3. Blow by Hill, goes by everybody in heavy traffic.
He's the most fearless driver I think Georgia has. Doesn't mind attacking the bigs. Finds a seam in transition.
Georgia still shooting 64% from the field. That's going to be an illegal screen on Alex Condon. The former Australian rules football player threw a block more than a screen. That's the first Gator turnover of this half.
You know what has surprised me about this game so far? Georgia has played every second man-to-man.
Yeah. You'd like to, I know you'd like to see them mix it up a little bit, right?
Well, I think if you've played and seen Florida struggle with the zones lately, yeah, we're going to see some at some point in time.
Georgia had hit its last 3 shots before that miss. Down to 5 minutes to go in the first half. Richard.
Yeah, Demery was so good fighting through the screen.
There's Condon, mismatch. Using his size, but he missed the shot. Demery on the attack, and he's fouled.
That's a play I'm seeing more and more of. Kind of a ghost screen, and your post player kind of clears space out and creates a room for you to get to the rim. Demery back to the free throw line.
First foul on Clayton. Demery, a talented freshman. They believe in time. He's going to be a real good one. He might be on that list of great point guards in the league next year. This is the first. Don't forget, tonight our college basketball quadruple header continues right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app at 6 Eastern Time. Dalton Connect and 8th-ranked Tennessee hosting rival Vandy. Then it's Missouri squaring off against Ole Miss at the Pavilion in Oxford. I feel like now Dalton Connect is no longer a well-kept secret. When you do and you put up the numbers that he has in this league over the last month, he is now a national household name that's driving up the draft board.
Demery, 73% misses a pair. That's just like a turnover.
Clayton in the trees, throws it up there, missed it, and a nice box out by Thomason. Melendez on Hauk. Georgia has led this game throughout. Thomason to Chiwa, pump fake, and a foul.
But Georgia is getting a lot more out of their ball screen action than what Florida is getting. And that's a credit, I think, to Chiwa, who set the table early by establishing himself block to block. Nice little pocket pass, good catch, going to the free throw line.
Clear foul on Richard. 2 free throws for Chiwa. Chiwa played in 104 games at Texas Tech in South Florida before transferring to Georgia, originally out of Cameroon. He had a good stretch earlier in the year, back-to-back double-doubles against LSU and Florida when they met in Gainesville. And then, like much of this Georgia team, has struggled a bit during this losing streak.
How about Georgia? 77% at the line. That's 4th best in the league. They've just missed 4 in a row.
Clayton, tough shot. There's Hanlogden cleaning up the glass. Sets up Hauk on a second 3. Thomas Hauk entered the game with just 6 threes all year. He's hit 2 in the first half.
But why are 3-point shots after offensive rebounds such good looks? The defense is scattered.
Yeah, scramble mode.
Oh.
Hill whips it into the corner. Open 3 for Demery. That's a shot if you're Georgia you'd love to have again. And then Richard, a little careless, had it poked away from behind. Richard never saw the defense. We've got a 3-point game brewing here in Athens with 3:14 to go. Are similar in that regard, in that both coaches now in their second year with their respective schools. The formula, grab a couple of freshmen, and of course grab some experience in the portal and just hope that everything meshes. Sometimes it meshes,
right?
Sometimes it doesn't. There are teams out there that on paper looked like they added the right parts, but for whatever reason it just has not come together.
Demery, who has shot over 100 free throws in his freshman campaign. Mike White talked to me yesterday about Demery being as dependable as any freshman he's had.
Houck stays on the floor for Florida. He's already got 9 points today. He had 13 combined in his last 11 games. Clayton, that's too easy. Just again weaving left to right and finds a clear path.
That time Chiwa got on the wrong side of Samuel.
Hill whips it inside to Chiwa, who draws another foul, but that all started with a perfect pass from the top to Chiwa.
This is great execution. This is the first time I've seen this set. This is a double stagger on top. Freeze it right there. See the two double screens? And Chiwa's going to slip to the basket right down Main Street. That's really difficult to defend, but great execution by the Bulldogs.
First free throw rattles in for Chiwa. I mentioned he had a nice streak there of back-to-back double-doubles against LSU and Florida the first time around. Already with 9 points, 2 rebounds so far in the first half. Make it 10. The lead is back to 5.
With big guys who can make free throws, man, your average will go from 8 to 10 in a hurry. Here's the 1-3-1. First time we've seen it.
Georgia implemented this quite a bit in the loss to Arkansas.
Georgia did have a foul to give.
Yeah, 16 fouls with 2:37 to go.
I think Georgia's going to stay in it. This is Deloach on the point at 6'9".
Last foul on Kane, his second.
Ball's got to go below the free throw line. On cue.
Look at this. Thomas Houck with his third three. He had 6 all season, and now the young man's got 12 points, the freshman from New Oxford, Pennsylvania.
Florida's best half-court possession of the day. One of the cornerstones of any good offense is ball reversal. Watch this. Ball on the right side of the floor, skip pass, bounce pass. Corner is wide open. That's because the ball must go below the free throw line on one side to make the low man in the 1-3-1 come out. And then when you reverse it, he's got to go corner to corner.
You're talking about two teams that play a lot of guys. Florida has been one of the leaders this year in bench scoring, and Florida has a heavy rotation of guards and bigs. Who would have thought it'd be Houck being the star for the Gators in this first half?
Florida having a little bit better success with Chiwa on the double team. Tried to throw a pass to a teammate at his ankles. Those are hard to catch. Back to man-to-man.
It's amazing what hitting a wide-open three will do to change up that philosophy. Kugel passed up the three, pulls up from the elbow, and that one fell flat. Came off like a knuckleball. Here's Hill. Stop and go. Pulls up from 15.
How sweet was that?
Little hesitation.
Got his defender on his heels.
Nope. Kugel, beautiful pass. That's the one thing Houck did not do right in this first half. Should have caught it and had an easy bucket.
Yeah, he was about to get the easiest points he's gotten all year.
Maybe a little too easy. That would have given Houck a new career high. His career high is 13. He's sitting on 12. Approaching the 1 minute mark of another entertaining first half between these two teams. Thomason, look at that move. My goodness, 17 points for Thomason. He has given you the variety pack in this first half.
Good denial after picking up your dribble.
Kugel harassed by Melendez. Kugel backing in. Tough shot. Samuel is there, and he's hammered by Chiwa from behind. Samuel, right place, right time, and all Chiwa could do was hold on.
I think sometimes Florida's best offense is get the ball up on the glass and go get it.
It's a second foul on Chiwa. Something to keep an eye on because Georgia's a little light in big man depth. When Chiwa's not on the floor, they look a lot smaller. Samuel, always an issue. The free throw line, he comes in on the season at just 54%. And a use it or lose it timeout for Mike White.
Take a look at the variety of shots that he's been able to make. Whether you're talking about getting feet in the paint, driving, creating his own, coming off screens with step-back threes, 7 of 10, 3 of 5 from beyond the arc, leads all scorers with 17. It answers the 2 Qs. Is it quick and is it quiet?
Right. And he's got the ability to kind of lull you to sleep. The dribbling and step backing, put you on skates. I've never seen him get his jumper blocked, even though he's not the best leaper.
Mike White opted to take Chiwa out his last possession.
Sitting on the 2 fouls. Melendez under 5 to shoot. Melendez, rise and fire. Too strong. Gators will have 5 seconds to get a shot off. Pulling. Measures. Step back 3. Left it short, and that's how the half will come to a close.
Russell Chiwa established block to block early. His ability to get to the paint, get for easy points. He had 10 in the first half. Now, while Chiwa was establishing block to block, Thomason established everything else. Shooting jump back 2s, 3s. Thomas Haupt for the Gators was the X factor in the first half. He had made 6 threes all season. He made 3 from bonus land.
In the field, Florida battled back. It's a 6-point game. The magnitude of this game, really for both teams. Florida obviously wants to stay hot, keep climbing the charts on the seed line as the 3 is knocked down by Clayton. That's a good way to start. And for Georgia, desperately need to snap this losing streak. They'd love to have some type of postseason play, even if it's the NIT.
And that would be a big step forward for this program, I think.
Potentially host a game. The way the crowds have been so great here at Stegman, be a heck of an advantage.
Again, Chiwa's getting it too close.
Chiwa just carving out primetime real estate. That's like beachfront property, 2 feet from the tin.
And he is manhandling Hanlogden right now.
Clayton, every time, right-handed drive to the right side, very little resistance.
And Florida makes a switch quickly. Samuel now gets Chiwa.
Thomason. Oh, nifty move. Kicks it out. Demery passed up the 3. Demery inside on Clayton. Great defense that time by Clayton. He just stood his ground without fouling. Now, Walter Clayton, for a young man who loved football and was recruited by all the heavyweights to play that sport, for a guy that was so good on the gridiron, his basketball instincts are outstanding. Thomason again. Shows he's human. He missed one, and then a foul fighting for the rebound.
What a great read, though, by Chiwa on the opposite pass. Thomason, who knocked down in the first half, he was 3 of 5 from deep, was wide open.
First foul on Abdur Rahim. It was the Thomason Chiwa show in the first half. Who steps it up for Georgia in the second? Wide open 3 for Richard, and Richard buries the triple.
Back-to-back calls from the coach out of the locker room. 2 straight threes. We're back to our starting point.
It's the first time we've been tied since 0-0. Again, Florida has not had a lead in this game. Thomason says, I need some help. Come to me. Don't go away.
I think Florida picked on Abdur Rahim. Mike White makes a change. Melendez back in.
No secrets at this point in the season, right? Everybody has scouted every player in this league.
Wrinkles. You put in little wrinkles here or there.
Thomason.
Seemed kind of fumble for the ball, though.
Yeah.
He didn't really have a hold of it.
If you have a deficiency, offensive, defensive, you're going to get exposed at this point in the season. Nice job saving it by Samuel, but unfortunately for him, in the hands of Thomason. Finds Melendez.
Well, that's good sudden change defense by the Gators. You like the way I worked in that football reference?
Absolutely. You were a man of all sports.
Even after the Super Bowl.
Now, if you can throw in a baseball analogy or two, I'll really be impressed. SEC baseball started this weekend with opening day. Georgia excited about a new era. Coach Johnson on the diamond.
Nice baseline cut that time by Melendez, who was so good in that comeback effort in Gainesville. The career high of 35, but he also had 5 steals in the game.
Melendez sinks the first one. Sunday afternoon, we've got a women's basketball triple header. It starts at noon. And we'll highlight the middle game, Tennessee and Vanderbilt. That'll be at historic Memorial Gym in Nashville. Coverage beginning at 2 o'clock Eastern time right here on the SEC Network. Georgia back on top by a deuce.
A little 2-2-1, if you will. I'm sure they'll fall back to man out of this. One of the things that Todd Golden said, he wanted them to recognize the changing defenses sooner. They really did not do that.
Clayton on a runner, missed it, tapped up and in. Was that Samuel? I saw a lot of hands and arms. Samuel gets credit for the basket.
A little left-handed tip. Florida doing what Florida does. Crash the offensive glass.
Back to a tie ball game.
Speaking of positional size, I love what Demery brings to the table.
Melendez short, Deloach battling, Hanluggen had it. Now we got a scrum, and we've got body parts all over the place. It's a game of Twister.
Good activity by both teams.
No lack of intensity between these two border rivals. Georgia will win it on the arrow.
This is one of those strange situations that even though the ball hit the rim and the jump ball situation, the arrow, the shot clock's at 20 by rule.
And Condon will check in for the Gators for Samuel. Again, they've got that luxury to rotate 4 bigs throughout the course of 40 minutes of action.
This puts Hanluggen back on Chiwa.
Thomason in the corner. In the lane. Tries the leaner, but again, great defense by Clayton. Another rebound for Deloach.
Don't you feel like that's bonus situations for Georgia getting offensive rebounds?
No question.
And that's a mugging.
Chiwa's got to check his pockets, his wallet, his keys, his cell phone. They all might have been gobbled up in that exchange.
One of the games within the game, for any game, is who can get to the bonus first. Hanluggen tried to play defense with his arms. That's not the correct position. Defense is played with your feet first.
Deloach, no threat at the top, tries to sneak it into Melendez, a bobble. Thomason. Late clock. And offensive foul.
I saw it. Jalen Deloach, and he knew it when he did it. He was late to get there. Thomason was kind of looking for him.
Florida is now playing for its first lead of the game. Pulling for 3. Tapped around, and Georgia gets it. Melendez, full throttle. Melendez all the way, a little bit out of control, and out of bounds to Georgia. Catching a break there, Melendez. Wow. No, all gas, no brakes on that drive, Mark Wise.
Georgia back to this 2-2-1. Again, just trying to be disruptive. I don't think they're going to look to trap out of it.
They peel back. Here's Clayton, guarded by Blue for the first Gator lead. And Melendez off his pogo stick on the rebound.
Great challenge that time defensively.
Great defense by Clayton. Man, does he have a sixth sense about him on that end of the floor.
Yeah, the bigs for Florida, sometimes offensively they can get in the way. Clayton was coming down in transition. Condon kind of ran right to him. Give him space.
Condon banging bodies with Melendez. Condon banks it home, and the Gators have their first lead of the game.
Kind of took his time. Melendez tried to get the charge call, did not get that whistle. Isn't this kind of what we expected, though?
Well, we knew Georgia couldn't keep up as hot a shooting as they had in the first half. They've missed their last 6 shots here in the second.
Yeah, for the first time in a long time, Georgia looks a little stagnant offensively.
And then Hill draws the foul on Kugel. Hill just lulls you to sleep and then puts it in another gear.
It was a great head fake, and Kugel bid on it. Kugel has to understand, utilize your length, and if he's going to jump up and shoot a 3 from distance, just challenge him with your length.
Kugel just picked up his 3rd foul. In the corner, 3 ball. And that'll be Florida basketball.
Not necessarily a bad look for Abdur-Rahim, because when you're a 3-point kind of specialist, you got to be willing to live with some tough ones.
This is a key stretch in this game. Georgia's missed 7 in a row. They've kind of quieted the crowd somewhat because they haven't had a ton to cheer about. Florida's starting to heat up. Gators with their first lead of the game, 52-50. Condon passed up on an open 3. Kugel will not. Kugel has it rim off, and another big play by Thomas Houck, who lit it up in the first half with 12 points and just picked up his 5th rebound.
You talked about his rebounding seasonally, but in his last 2 games, Houck has had 8 offensive rebounds alone.
Yeah.
That's with a guy with limited minutes.
How much of Florida's offensive rebounding is not just personnel, but a philosophy?
No, it's personnel.
All personnel?
All personnel. In the scoring zone, wow.
Houck had it blocked.
Abdur-Rahim got away with a foul.
And then Clayton on a steal. Clayton is everywhere, and then that's going to be a goaltend on Melendez. Walter Clayton's defense tonight has been nothing short of spectacular.
Take another look. This is where Hill gets guilty at the midcourt line. That's an easy goaltending call. Ball had already hit the glass. Maybe a little bit of a danger zone for the home team for the first time.
Yeah, that's what you're sensing here. It kind of just feels like that right now. Georgia needs a bucket in a big way. Strong take Abdur-Rahim, and he draws the foul. That's probably what Mike White would like to see more of out of his leading scorer.
But he's not wired that way. He's not a great creator off the bounce. But I like the fact that he drove to the basket out of the framework of the offense. Did not seek his own. And when you're shooting 87% at the line, yeah, you want to go there as often as you can.
Yeah, one of the best in school history. Abdur-Rahim at the free throw line. You see the all-time leaders, Channing Tony, Joe Ward, J.J. Frazier. Boy, was he a lot of fun to watch during his years in a Georgia uniform. Every now and then you see him back here at the Steg, checking out his alma mater.
He hit more threes in front of a visitor's bench than any player I've ever seen. He was marvelous, right at the feet of the head coach of the other team.
Now, when it's all said and done, this is going to be a career night for Thomas Houck, who's already got 12 and is 1 away from tying his career high. 3rd foul on Chiwa, by the way. That's going to be a concern for the final 13 minutes and change. Angel Reese, number 13, LSU, highlight our Monday night women's basketball matchup right here on the SEC Network. They'll square off against a balanced Texas A&M team looking for a statement win. Coverage tips off at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Mike Morgan with Mark Wise. Another sellout crowd at Stegman Coliseum. Border rivals Florida and Georgia. Another entertaining tussle between these two. It took overtime to determine a winner in Gainesville.
So explain to me how a guy who's made 3 threes in this game is a 40% free throw shooter and just went 0 for 2.
Does the word mental mean anything?
Yeah, it's all confidence. Free throw is about 2 things and 2 things only: repetition and confidence.
Now it's Pullen on a steal, picking up where Clayton left off, and then he drops a teardrop. Great exchange that time.
Georgia might need a timeout. They played giveaway here 2 of the last 3 possessions.
Misses and turnovers. And that has paved the way for Florida to take a 4-point lead. Melendez for 3. Right on line, but a little short. Hauk on the board. Leads it off to Richard. Missed it. Flying in for the offensive rebound is Condon.
What did we say? I think we said this about the first time we had Florida this year. Their bigs are so bouncy, and they run the floor. That's a great job by Condon. Did not assume that the shot was going to be made. He was just to the ball quicker. If you want to be a great offensive rebounder, put your camera down and get in the picture. Don't take the picture.
We live in a selfie world, Mark Wise. Condon wheeling, dealing.
He should have kicked it out.
Georgia needs a bucket.
Well, remember, Deloche is not the same inside threat as Chiwa. So they're almost playing on the perimeter exclusively.
That was necessary. Thomason going downhill, draws the foul, and draws a trip to the line.
Well, here's an even bigger quiz, Mike, because Thomason on the season at the free throw line.
I got nothing for you on this one.
Just 57%.
Yeah.
I had to double check that.
I know. When you watch his form, you would feel like that's got to be a typo. And yet it's not. And Georgia right now 10 of 15 at the line. That one is perfect, and the lead for Florida is cut to 3.
This is a little bit different look. Georgia made trap out of this. It's back to the 3-2. First time we've seen it.
Pullen, drive and kick. Kugel gets it on the return.
And then they flatten back into man.
Pullen, leaner, no. Abdur-Rahim had it, lost it, and got it back. Now Condon got it. Hauk to Condon. A foul and an and one. Just how the Gators drew it up. Let's check out our mayhem moment brought to you by Allstate. And Mark, there was plenty of mayhem on this last bucket for the Gators.
Well, again, Florida gets the ball up on the glass, and then all mayhem breaks loose. The scrum, the kick out, the extra pass, the scoop pass, the finish off the window for the and one opportunity. I think all 5 guys were involved in that mayhem moment.
Condon knocks down the free throw, a 68% free throw shooter. And the largest lead now for the Gators of 6 points.
Again, stagnant. Chiwa back in the game, though.
Thomason, when in doubt, they've gone to number 3. And he lost
Hauk.
it. Hauk again. Here's Kugel on the attack. Euro. And a friendly bounce.
Nobody picks him up, so he goes all the way to the rim. But again, Hauk, the X-Factor guy for Florida today.
Chiwa at the free throw line, trying to find an open shooter, and now an offensive foul. I believe that's on Demery.
Take a look at the second half shooting. I'd be willing to bet you that Todd Golden spent a few moments at halftime talking about defense, because we did. Here's the 1-3-1.
6 turnovers, by the way, forced by that Gator defense in this second half.
So again, once the ball goes below that, they'll get back into a zone or man-to-man. It looks to me like they're back into man-to-man.
And now an offensive foul on Florida. What's good for the Goose.
Just way too slow in developing.
And that is the 4th foul on Condon. And Condon will take a seat. Hanlogden will come in. But again, the Gators have depth in the front court. It's not a huge deal.
I'd like to see Georgia go back to playing through Chiwa for a couple of possessions.
Right now, he's at the free throw line. We'll do a little weave up top. Thomason. Great hedge by Hanlogden. 5 on the shot clock. Abdur-Rahim gonna launch a 3. Got fouled. Got fouled by the 7-1 Hanlogden. What a break that is for Georgia and Thomason.
Just a horrible decision by Hanlogden. It was Florida's best defensive possession of the entire game.
You're 7-1. You don't need to foul the jump shooter.
Yeah.
Just put your hands straight up. Abdur-Rahim, again, an elite free throw shooter. Now 6 points on the day. Georgia's points have all come from the free throw line. They've missed their last 8 shots.
Just wasn't any reason to challenge with that far of a shot late in a possession.
Big moment in this game for Georgia. Close within 5.
And here is the 3-2.
What do you want to see from Florida to attack it?
Well, they screened on top, so that made Georgia go man-to-man. See, I'm going to put Chiwa in some sort of mismatch.
Oh, Hanlogden was left alone, straight center, right near the rim.
Yeah, Georgia got caught on a switch, and Hill was guarding Hanlogden inside. And here's the set that Georgia had success with. Yes, play through Chiwa.
Chiwa was bullish in the first half. At times felt unstoppable, getting the ball down low and barreling his way to the bucket. A quiet second half, though, for Chiwa.
Sometimes Georgia plays multiple defenses in a single possession. And I'm just curious if maybe they got confused on what the secondary defense was.
Chiwa 2 for 4 at the line today. Monday night, SEC Inside grants you an all-access pass to the South Carolina women's basketball team, followed up by the Vanderbilt men's basketball team. A behind-the-scenes look right here on the SEC Network. Jerry Stackhouse and Vanderbilt starting to play some better basketball, get some more confidence.
You're telling me I can spend an hour with Don Staley and Jerry Stackhouse?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, no lack of entertainment right there.
Georgia catches a break off the miss. That ball bounced on the rim one more time and threw off Kugel's timing. But here's an opportunity for a 3-point, 4-point play.
Kane off a curl for 3. Got it!
Yeah, Kugel did not chase the screen. Wide open. But isn't this Georgia basketball?
100%, and that'll get the Georgia crowd back in the game. Richard nearly missed everything. It just grazed the iron. Here comes Hill. Stop and go. Wheel and deal. Finds Chiwa. Missed it, but a foul on Samuel.
The big fella has been able to carve out space. Here's the out under. Kugel gets caught on the screen, off balance. Blue King knocks down a Blue King shot. Remember, he made 2 of 6 in the first meeting between these two teams, en route to 14 points.
Chiwa just kind of throws a knuckleball there, and an awkward rotation off his hand.
Yeah, you always get concerned, I did as a coach, about big guys being a little fatigued at the free throw line. It seems to impact them more there.
And an empty trip, but a lane violation on Florida. Right now, Georgia's catching all the breaks. Florida with some ill-timed mental errors. Let's see if the third time is the charm for Chiwa. No. Goodness. It remains a 3-point game.
I think you run your man-to-man stuff. Get a better feel for what Georgia's in defensively. Oh, that's a pull-in special.
Everything but the basket. Made a heck of a move against Kane. Here's Hill. Skip pass to Abdur-Rahim. Oh, Chiwa was open, and Abdur-Rahim was fouled before he could pocket pass it over to the big man.
Yeah, the last couple of minutes by the Gators has not been very pretty from a basketball perspective in terms of challenging the three-point shooter, not being able to get rebounds off the free throws.
Is that your biggest concern about this Florida team moving forward on the defensive end?
Yes. Yes. I've often said I think more big games are lost because you couldn't score than you couldn't defend, but you do have to have a defensive presence. You have to play defense at the right time.
Abdur-Rahim, a perfect 7 for 7 at the stripe. We got a 1-point game in Athens. Hauk, hot hand first half, not so much in the second. And there's Blue Kane reeling in the rebound. Chance for Georgia to recapture the lead. Hill to Chiwa. What do we have? Jump ball, arrow to Florida. Great defense by Samuel. A man of your extreme physical conditionings, not surprisingly, handled it well. 1-point game here at Stegman. Mike Morgan, Mark Wise, great to be with you here on the SEC Network, the first of 4. And that is another no-no. Another fouling of a 3-point shooter will send Richard to the line for 3.
This is a play that Florida ran in the first half, earlier in the second half for Richard, coming off a pin down. Kane's angle, take another look. Kane's angle is all wrong at the shooter. He goes right at the shooter, lands in Richard's space. So now the teams have traded bad fouls on 3-point shots.
Richard, who already eclipsed the 1,000-point plateau in this game for his career, had a career-high 24 last year against the Dogs. And will pad the Gator lead with 7:32 to play. By the way, Georgia will be in the double bonus the rest of the way. And in fact, both teams now are in the bonus, but Georgia's already in the double. So free throws certainly could play a huge role down the stretch of this game. Kane left open and can't get the friendly bounce.
Look good.
Yep.
Mismatch inside with Hauk.
Clayton around the screen from Samuel. Step back, 15-footer, rims off. And a rebound corralled by Thomason.
Good look, though.
Thomason weaving, finding daylight, and finishes.
He was able to finish because Chiwa was like a pulling guard.
That's right. Pulling. Again, the iron unkind to Florida. And we have a goaltend call against Georgia.
That's going to be an interesting. They'll look at this at the under 4 timeout.
Would they call it on Kane?
Take another look. I thought the hand that was up there was Samuel.
Oh, it's Kane, and he hit the rim.
Did he hit the rim? Yeah. That'll be interesting replay and evaluation.
Yes. Hill blocked by Pullen. Hill took it right into Pullen, and Pullen had an answer. Now Clayton lost it. Will Richard right place, right time, and he draws the foul.
Cleveland's size created the block shot on one end. And then Florida got a big break with this swipe. Richard goes into attack. That looks like a lot of ball to me.
Sure does. Richard a perfect 6 of 6 from the line. The Gators now 11 of 15 from the charity stripe.
A team that has shot free throws much better in league play than they did in the non-conference.
Yeah, they were woeful in the non-con, 69% overall. 6-point game, 6 minutes to go.
This is the best three-point shooting team on the floor for Georgia.
There's that man. Nice closeout by Clayton. Chiwa goes to work, and he gets a foul. It's going to go against Samuel, and that's 4 on Samuel. Again, this is where that depth comes in handy, Mark.
Again, the key point here is where does Chiwa catch the ball? He's been able to carve out room down in that high rent district at will, catching the ball almost inside the restricted arc.
Obvious question then, and I know Chiwa's a big man, so it's easier said than done, but how do you stop him from getting such great position?
Well, you want to, I think, front him, but Florida doesn't front as a general rule.
It's a lot to ask to play behind Chiwa and just muscle him out of there because he's so big and so strong, 7 feet, 280 pounds.
Much better, big fella, making your free throws.
4-point game. Condon left alone.
Oh,
Condon
my goodness.
And a foul as well. Who is the foul on?
I think this is on Georgia.
So the basket counts, and Florida will go to the line.
Condon knocks down just his 7th made 3 of the year. Watch under the basket. This is Abdur-Rahim, who just pushes.
Why?
I'm a little surprised they're not taking a look at this. Take another look.
You're Abdur-Rahim. You're 6'8" against a smaller guard. Why not just box him out there?
About a 5-point play potential.
That is mammoth. Now, if I would have told you going in that Houck and Condon would combine for 4 threes in this game, how much would you give me on that wager? Clayton, a Gator team high, 19 points.
Wow, this went from a 1-possession game to 3 possessions, almost 4, almost instantly.
Still plenty of time if you're Georgia. Chiwa posting up, gets it, draws a double. Somebody's got to be open. Chiwa puts it on the deck. That's a no-no. Lucky not to turn it over. Melendez on the drive. Great finish, great take.
But I think if you're Florida, you're willing to live with that. You got the ball out of Chiwa's hands.
Clayton goes left, and there is Houck, and his career performance continues. Timeout, Florida. Houck with 14 points and 5 rebounds. Although we just lost 2 points in this game, Mark Wise, as the goaltend call on Georgia has been over.
You and I both thought first, my first thought was Samuel is the guy who hit it.
Right.
And then Kane kind of glazes the rim, if you will. But they're saying that Samuel was the first to hit it while the ball was still in the cylinder. Demery back on the floor. Kane out. Demery at the point.
Melendez, aggressive, missed it.
Nothing wrong with the play. Tried to take advantage with the freshman on him. They got the switch again. Houck inside.
Clayton that time threw it away. Melendez ahead of the pack, and he lays it in. Thought he might go a little showtime there. He's got some good hops.
I thought Clayton gave up a shot, then turned it over.
5-point game, 4.5 to play.
You cannot practice this kind of pressure.
Pull in. Hauk takes it strong. Condon top floor for the rebound. Clayton around the screen from Condon. 15-footer. Yes, you got to get out on number 1 in blue.
That's that drop coverage I talked about.
Clayton's going to hit that 9 out of 10. Chiwa quickly doubled. Lobs it. Dangerous pass to Hill. Into the corner. 3-ball. Thomason delivers.
Yeah, it really felt like Richards should have had the first pass shooting the gap.
Pulling on the drive. Takes it right at Demery. It draws contact and the foul. Threes to Florida's 9. Georgia relies heavily on that 3-ball. Florida a little more balanced with points in the paint. As Pullen knocks down the first free throw, he's got 11 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists.
That's a Pullen line.
That is a Pullen line. A stat sheet stuffer.
That's who you want at the line, 85% on the year. Now, who's willing to take and make big shots for Georgia, maybe besides Thomason?
Thomason around the screen. Thomason for 3 with a good look. Offensive rebound, Chiwa in the middle of a Gators sandwich of Hauk and Condon, and the ball knocked out of bounds.
But Thomason was fading to his right. He wasn't on balance. Not necessarily a horrible look.
Right.
Just not his best look.
Yeah, his body was, as you said, drifting to the right. He let that one loose.
Chiwa's peeking.
Chiwa bobbles it. Another steal for the Gators. That's 7 on the game.
And here's this drop coverage, and they changed. Hard hedge.
Condon banging into that brick wall that is Chiwa and throws up a jump hook shot. Kind of glares at the bench like, you guys didn't know I had that in my bag, did you?
A little shimmy, if you will.
And then Hill draws the foul on the other end. I don't know if I've seen that move out of Alex Condon.
Yeah, he kind of ran into the Chiwa wall and then gave a little shimmy look. Watch this again. Here's the wall right there. The shimmy right there. Oh, baby hook.
Okay.
That's big time.
Speaking of big time, that's the 4th foul on Pullen.
Yeah, I love the response. Immediate early offense by Hill. Get yourself to the free throw line.
I'm going to keep Pullen in the game for the moment. As Hill sinks a pair, Georgia still hanging around a 2-possession game.
Now remember, in the first game, Florida late in the game had all kinds of problems with the Georgia press.
Pullen needs help.
Now they have totally changed their ball screen coverage. Now Chiwa's coming out.
That's a double dribble. And obviously Florida's going to say that the ball was deflected by Georgia, which would allow Clayton to put it back on the deck.
My first look, I thought he double dribbled.
And now a break for Georgia. You could close to within 3 on this possession. Hill, shake and bake all the way. Beautiful drive by Hill. Two minutes remaining.
Just play solid D if you're Georgia.
Shot clock under 10.
And Georgia has made this late switch in how they guard the ball screen. It's affected Florida.
Hauk with a runner. My goodness. The career day continues for Hauk. 16 points and 6 rebounds.
In traffic on the road.
90 seconds to play. Thomason, Hauk a hand in his face. Thomason measures, fires. He hits it! Splashing a 3 right between the eyes of Hauk. had to have it, got it, with 1:18 to go and a timeout on the floor.
Thomason is going to want the M&Ms in the house every game this year, because we saw him do this last week in Starkville. Again, it's the little Harden-esque move, if you will, with the step back between the legs, and he does it effortlessly. And that time, it was a great challenge. But he, again, knocks down the 3 ball to get us to a 1-possession game.
Every detail counts, brought to you by Pfizer. How about the 5th 3-pointer of the game for Thomason?
This is great defense and better offense. Thomason with the little details that matter in terms of shooting the 3 ball with confidence.
You mentioned the last time you and I had him together was in Starkville. He had a career-high 6 threes in that game. So, yeah, he is a proud charter member of the M&M fan club. Maybe the only one, but we'll take whatever we can get. 26 points for Thomason. I mean, quite simply, he is the guy. 26 points on 10 of 17 from the field. Hill had the big drive before that. Melendez has played well. All right, what do you want to see now from Georgia defensively?
Well, they've already made the change, so it'll be interesting to see how Florida counters, because they have started hedging the ball screen instead of the drop coverage. That is designed to get the ball out of Pullen's hands. So the challenge for Florida, can you attack off the ball screen but get the ball back to Pullen? You want him to be your decision maker.
This crowd has been terrific all game long for a team that has struggled here of late, desperately needs a win. They are within range.
Here's the run and jump. Florida's got nothing going.
Somehow, that was a blind desperation pass to beat the 10 count.
Well, they're going to set a different screener, Richard, and he was open on the pop.
Richard for 3, rims off. Houck with another rebound, and he's fouled. Houck came flying in as his career day continues, his 7th carom. And a valuable extra possession for Florida.
Changed the screener. That was the adjustment that Florida made on their ball screen. And it was Richard, and he had a great look. But Houck has been the Gator of the game.
He has struggled mightily at the line this year. 46% coming in.
Well, even making one would be huge here.
A chance to make it a 2-possession game. Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining. Rattles home the second. 84-80.
Doesn't have to be a 3. Don't settle. I'd like Hill attacking.
Hill. Inside, Chiwa. Missed it. Out of bounds, though, to Georgia.
Yeah, the officials will go review this almost automatically.
Final 2 minutes, so it is reviewable. And Chiwa had the position that you wanted him to get here.
Hill, who's done such a crafty job of getting it to Chiwa. I thought he got fouled on the way up.
Definitely contact there from Condon. Hill will be the inbounder. Nobody open. Tries to sneak it into Melendez, and out of bounds to Georgia. So that only took a couple of seconds off the shot clock.
Pullen at the last moment got in for that weak side glass. I think Todd Golden wanted them to go look at this, which is his right to ask.
I think overall it's been a good thing. What I've noticed year by year, the verdict is quicker. What do we got here?
It looks to me like Pullen his fingertips are the last to touch it. Does anybody? Ooh, there's another swipe there. I still think it's out on Pullen.
I do too, but I got to say, I think these are the hardest reviews in any sport, not just basketball.
Florida had switched all screens in the previous out under.
I think goal number 1 here, just get it in bounds. They do. Now back into the hands of that man, Thomason. Thomason for 3. Back iron. Boy, he had a good look.
And Georgia's got a foul.
And they do. And if you're Florida, that's the guy you want on the line, an 85% free throw shooter.
But again, the Thomason three, he was fading to the right just enough to throw that off. And regardless of what Pullen does here at the line, it's still a 2-possession game.
Right.
But I almost think Georgia's response here will depend on whether he makes both. Because now you don't have enough time to just trade 2 for 2.
Remember, Georgia does have 2 timeouts left. Should Mike White want to call a quick one after this free throw?
If he makes this, I'm saying Georgia needs a 3.
I'll second that. Pullen, money at the line. And there's the timeout called by Florida. A key option. I don't know right now.
4 3-point shooters on the floor. No big man for Georgia.
Hill going to take it all the way and gets a quick bucket. There will be no timeout called. They'll play it out. Florida inbounds to Hawk. Bobble back to Pullen. And that's the guy again you want on the line if you're Florida.
Yeah, the ball came into Houck and they couldn't get to him. You know that's the guy they wanted to foul.
Absolutely. You couldn't race there fast enough, but they didn't get there. And Houck finds the guy that you want. And Zion Pullen, what a story this young man has been. You want to talk about winning the portal. This was a huge grab from California. And of course, Todd Golden knows a thing or two about the state of California, coaching the University of San Francisco.
And Mike, if they survive this, take a look at Florida's upcoming schedule. They have 3 quad 1 opportunities. They've got 2 games remaining with Alabama.
I think Florida, you could safely say, is a team on the rise. And this is going to make it 7 out of 8. And the more you watch them, the more you come away impressed with the roster that Todd Golden has been able to compile. Another thriller between these 2 teams, but again, Florida outlasting Georgia. 88-82 your final score. The Gators have now won 7 of 8, 8-4 in league play.